Hi children, welcome to 8th class online social studies classes. I am going to start first lesson in geography, that is reading and analysis of maps. You have already learnt about maps, types of maps, map reading in your 6th and 7th classes also. Now in this lesson, we are going to learn about some more details about maps, how and why they originated and how they are useful. Now, to start with, let us first see what is the difference between a photograph and a map. What is a photograph and what is a map? You can see in the picture, the first one is photograph taken and the second one is map of Africa, Europe and America. Now, what is a map? Map is actually a model of a place. It is not an actual place, but it is a model of a place showing all those features which the map maker considers as important. Whatever features the map maker wants to show in the map, he can show them, like population of a place, crops grown or climate, all the rainfall, temperature, all these features can be shown in a map which the map maker considers as important. That means if the map maker wants to show rainfall of a place, population of a place or crops grown in an area, region or place, all those can be shown on a map. But whereas photograph is a real picture of a person, place or a thing which is captured at a particular time, and at that particular time whatever things or objects are present in and around, they also will be shown in the photograph, like trees, animals, background, all these can be shown in the photograph. Now let us see the differences between a photograph and a map. Now we learned what is a photograph and a map. Now the differences between a photograph and a map. In a photograph, the real features like trees, plants, background, anything that is present at the time of taking that photograph can be shown. But in a map, we cannot show such real features. That is the first difference between photograph and a map. And the second one is features like rainfall, temperature, population, soils of any place, they can be shown in a map. But such features cannot be shown in a photograph. And next one is individual houses, trees, like things can be shown in a photograph but not on a map. We can show on a map a continent or a country or a state or a district. We cannot show the trees and the house, individual houses which are there in that country, in the state or district. We cannot show. So such things can be shown in a photograph. Now, as already I told you, map actually is a model of a place. It is not the real place. It is only a model of a place showing those features which the map maker considers important. Now these are the differences between a photograph and a map. Now, history of maps. What is the history of these maps? Maps have a long history, and the earliest maps, they were made by the Sumerians. Sumeria, in ancient times it was called as Sumeria, but at present it is Iraq. You might be knowing Iran, Iraq. Iraq is Sumeria. The present Iraq was called as Sumeria in those days, and the earliest maps were made by the Sumerians. And about 4,000 years ago, these earliest maps were made by the Sumerians. And these maps were imprinted on clay tablets. You can see the clay tablets in the picture. The first one is made by the Sumerians. These maps were imprinted on clay tablets because at that time there was no paper. So they were imprinted on clay tablets, which you can see in the picture. And Sumerian temples, why they needed these maps? Sumerian temples, they own large lands. And as you know, they collect tax from the lands. And they have to maintain an account of income from these lands. There were large tracts of land under the ownership of Sumerian temples, and they had to maintain account of income from all these lands. And for that they needed maps. They wanted to know how many lands are there and where they are located. So to know all these things, they needed maps. Map shows everything. Where are these lands located, under whose ownership? All these can be shown in the map. How many lands are under the ownership of Sumerian temples, that can be shown on the maps. So they needed these maps to maintain an account of income from their large tracts of land. And so they prepared the earliest maps. And some of the world's earliest maps were prepared by Babylonians also. Babylonia, it is also in Iraq. It is also the present day Iraq. And these maps were drawn on a clay tablet. The second clay tablet in the picture you can see. You can see in the picture, and which was drawn 2600 years ago. Sumerians, they made it 4000 years ago, and Babylonians, they made it 2600 years ago. And by imagining the world as a round disk, they made these maps. They imagined that the world is like a round disk, and then they made these maps. All the cities, villages, rivers, and mountains were within the inner circle. You can see, if you zoom the picture, you can see, or you can see in the textbook also, within the inner circle, all the cities, villages, rivers, and mountains were shown, and cities are shown like small circles. You can see small circles are there in the center, in the inner circle, and the city of Babylon was in the middle. Because it was made by the Babylonians, they made the city of Babylon in the center. Now, maps by Greek geographers. Around the same time when the Sumerians and the Babylonians made maps, the Greek geographers like Anaximander and Hecatus of Miletus is in Turkey, and Herodotus, they prepared world maps by arranging places from east to west and north to south. Once again I am repeating, around the same time when the Sumerians and the Babylonians made these maps, the Greek geographers like Anaximander and Hecatus of Miletus, it is a city in Turkey, and Herodotus also prepared world maps. They also prepared world maps by arranging the places from east to west and north to south. And like Babylonians, these Greek geographers also believed that the earth was round disk surrounded by ocean. Just like Babylonians believed, these Greek geographers also believed that the earth was round disk surrounded by ocean. And they also placed Greece in the middle of the map. Just like the Babylonians placed Babylonia in the middle of the map, these Greek geographers also placed Greece in the center of the map. And they divided the world into 3 continents. You can see in the map, they divided the world into 3 continents: Europe, Libya is a country in Africa presently, Europe, Libya, and Asia. Into these 3 continents, the world was divided. As you can see in the map, in the picture, the Greeks tried to make maps accurate with the help of longitudes and latitudes. By using the longitudes and latitudes, the Greeks tried to make these maps accurate. Accurate means perfect. Now let us see how they did it. First, they tried to find out a set of places where midday occurred at the same time. 4 or 5 places they selected where the midday occurs at the same time. Midday means it is 12 noon. When it is 12 noon at 4 or 5 places, they noticed such places. They found out such places, and these places were joined with a line from north to south. And this line was longitude. As you know, longitudes are drawn from north to south pole, and they are also known as meridian. And so this line was longitude or meridian. Meridian means midday. Midday occurs at the same time on all the places which are located on the same longitude. So they connected all these 4 or 5 places which they noticed where the midday occurs at the same time. They joined them together, and this line was named as longitude or meridian. And next they found places which had equal length of shadows at noon. Shadow, it is related to the sunshine. According to the sunshine, shadows will be there. Shadows will be short or long. You might be knowing it. And latitudes, they are connected with the temperature or sunshine. Temperature is connected to the sunshine. So, if 4 or 5 places had equal length of shadows at noon, such places were joined by them together, and these were called as latitudes. First they noticed 4 or 5 places where midday occurs at the same time, and they joined those places from north to south. and that was named as longitude or meridian. Meridian is midday. And next what they did, they found places which had equal length of shadows at noon and joined them. And these were latitudes. Now, with the help of latitude and longitude, they could draw a grid. As you know, grid is an intersection of latitude and longitude. All the latitudes and longitudes, they intersect with each other and a grid is formed. And also you know how this grid is useful. We can locate any place easily on the map with the help of a grid. And also we can know the temperature of a place. We can know the climatic conditions of a place. We can know in which direction we have to move with the help of grid. So it is useful in many ways. So they could draw a grid on the map and located all the places from east to west and north to south. First they drew the longitude by joining 4 or 5 places which had the midday at the same time. These are longitudes. And again they found places which had equal length of shadows at noon and they joined them together. These are latitudes. And these latitudes and longitudes, they intersect with each other and they form grid. And after finding out this grid, they located all the places from east to west and north to south. And it took nearly 2000 years to finally get correct latitudes and longitudes. Today, all these are fixed for us. This is latitude, this is longitude, so many latitudes are there, so many longitudes are there. Now we are easily locating places in the atlas on a map. But it took for them 2000 years. It took for them to finally get correct latitudes and longitudes. And by using these two lines, latitudes and longitudes, it became very easy for the sailors and travelers to find out the direction of their travel. Ptolemy, he was one of the famous geographers who made detailed maps of the world using latitudes and longitudes. He also made maps of the world using latitudes and longitudes. One famous Arab map maker was Al-Idrisi. You can see the map in the picture. The first map is made by Al-Idrisi. He was an Arab map maker, Al-Idrisi, and he prepared a world map for his king in 1154. You can see the map in the picture. If you carefully observe this map, you can notice that it shows south towards the top and north towards the bottom. Actually, north must be at the top and south must be at the bottom. But it is in reverse. It shows south towards the top and north towards bottom. And in this, Arabia is in the center of the map. Because it is made by Arab map makers, again Arabia is in the center of the map. And maps made by Chinese around the same time showed China in the middle. The next map in the picture is made by China. It is made by Da Ming Hun Yi Tu of China. In 1389 it was made by him. Now, European map makers were very much influenced by the religious ideas of the Bible. And because their religion is Christianity, they were very much influenced by the religious ideas of the Bible, and so they prepared world maps based on these ideas. For example, you can see one such map in the picture. It is surrounded by oceans and it is divided into 3 continents. And those 3 continents are Asia, Europe and Africa. And you can see Asia is on the top. Why Asia is kept on the top? Because Jerusalem, which is their which is a holy city for the Christians, it is located in Asia. So they placed this Asia on the top of the map. Asia was considered the most important because Jerusalem, which was the birthplace of Jesus Christ, is located in Asia. And that is why Asia is shown on the top of the map. Now towards the end of 15th century, that is 1480s, Europeans rediscovered Ptolemy's books. Ptolemy wrote many books on the preparation of maps and in the projection regarding projection of maps, but these books were not available. But towards the end of 15th century, these books written by Ptolemy, they were rediscovered, and people were surprised to see the accurate description of location of places. In his books, Ptolemy described the location of places accurately, where they are located actually. That was described by Ptolemy. And now they prepared maps based on Ptolemy's description. Because he accurately described it, accurately what is the actual location of the places, it was described by Ptolemy in his books. And when they found these books, on the basis of this description, they made maps. And you can see one such map in the picture. You can notice that the map is based on actual mathematical calculations of distances and directions. By seeing to the map itself, we can make out that it is perfect. And according to the calculations, it is made. Now, the discovery of new sea routes. Why there was a need to discover new sea routes? Now, let us go back to 15th century once again. In 1453, Constantinople, it was in the center of Western countries and Eastern countries. And presently it is called as Istanbul. It was occupied by Turks in 1453. Because as a part of their Islamic drive, that means the Turks, they wanted to establish their Turkish empire in almost all over the world. So as part of their Islamic drive, they started occupying all the places. And in this process, they occupied Constantinople, which was in the center of West and East. And they occupied it in 1453. And this Constantinople was the only land route for trade between the Western and the Eastern countries. And when these Turks, they occupied Constantinople, they did not allow trade to be continued between the West and the East. So the trade route was closed. It was blocked by them, by the Turks. So the European traders, they wanted to continue their trade with the Eastern countries, because they used to get many spices and all those things from the Eastern countries. So they were very fond of those goods. So they wanted to continue their trade. That is why European traders had to search for new trade routes to India and the East, because Constantinople was blocked by the Turks when they occupied it in 1453. The trade route between the West and the East was completely blocked, and they did not allow trade to be continued. So the European traders had to search for new trade routes to India and the East. And in this attempt only, Columbus, he discovered West Indies. He travelled westwards and he reached some islands, and he thought he reached India. He wanted to discover India, because in those days India was a wealthy nation, and all the nations, they wanted to exploit this wealth. So he wanted to reach India. He thought he reached India only, but because he travelled westwards and he reached those islands, he named them as West Indies. And Vasco da Gama, he discovered the first sea route to India in 1498. And Amerigo Vespucci, he discovered America, and Magellan, he belongs to Spain, and he sailed around the Cape of South America and the Pacific Ocean, and he reached Philippines. So like this led to discovery of new sea routes. Now once again I am repeating why there was a need to discover new sea routes. Constantinople, that means presently it is called as Istanbul, it was occupied by Turks in 1453 as part of their Islamic drive. That means they wanted to establish their Islamic empires all over the world. And in this process they occupied Constantinople also. This Constantinople was the only land route for trade between the Western and the Eastern countries. And when they occupied this Constantinople, they did not allow trade to be continued, and they blocked the trade. So the trade came to a standstill. But the Western countries, that is European countries, they wanted to continue their trade with the Eastern countries, because they were very fond of spices and other goods which they purchased from Eastern countries. So they had to search for new trade routes to India and the East. And in this attempt, they discovered new sea routes. Columbus, in 1492, he discovered West Indies. Vasco da Gama, in 1498, he discovered the first sea route to India. And Amerigo Vespucci discovered America. And Magellan, he sailed around the Cape of South America and the Pacific Ocean, and he was the one who named the Pacific Ocean as such. He called that ocean as Pacific Ocean because when he was sailing through the Pacific Ocean, he found it very calm and peaceful. So he named it as Pacific Ocean. And after that he reached Philippines, and of course he died in Philippines. So that is the reason why the new sea routes were discovered. Now, the father of Dutch cartography. The father of cartography means the art of making maps is called as cartography. And Gerardus Mercator is known as the father of Dutch cartography. And after examining all the previous maps made by different people, he developed the map projection work. What is this projection? Projection means how to represent solid objects, solid shapes or objects on a flat surface like map. That is called as projection. How to represent solid shapes and objects on a flat surface like map, that is called as projection, map projection. And he developed this map projection work. Mercator's map projection is famously known as Mercator projection. And most of the world maps we are using today are based on his projection only. You can see the world map prepared by Mercator in the picture. On right hand side it is the world map prepared by Mercator. According to his projection, he made this world map. Now here we conclude this part of the lesson and it will be continued in next class. Now I am giving you homework. Read the part of the lesson completed today, underlining all the important points with pencil and learn the keywords in the material.